This should do.
All right. First video in public, so feels a little weird, but we're gonna get to it anyway. I found this random chair in the back of a restaurant, and I think it was just perfect for me. So we're gonna pop a squat here and make a video. So I have two personal goals for myself. I want to ramble less, be more concise and get to the point, but also not have to make so many cuts, and just flow and not mess up every 3 seconds. That's the goal. First habit out of 8. These aren't in order, just random. Journaling and introspection. Now, all these habits I do myself. I practice what I preach, and I'm recommending these based off my own experience. So journaling and introspection. So for me, I notice that if you have a lot going on in your head and you're constantly brushing it off, like let's say you go to work and you have so much stuff, life stuff stressing you out, but since you're working and you're distracted, you just put it off to the side, right? And then you get home and you keep distracting yourself, and then you keep pushing off these thoughts that carry weight on you and make you feel heavy emotions, but you keep pushing them away because you don't want to face them head on. I noticed that journaling literally is such a good way for me to get all my thoughts out. And even if I'm not talking to anybody, I'm literally just talking to myself. By the end of it, I feel like I've processed some new things. And you might have some like questions, or like you might have some misunderstanding about something that's bothering you. All you know is the emotion you're feeling. You just know it's bothering you. But if you just journal, it doesn't have to be organized. You could just straight scribble, journal everything that comes into your brain, not planned, not organized. Just write it all on the page. And by the end of it, I noticed that one, it feels more processed, it feels more organized in my head. But two, you might actually come to some conclusions that you didn't have before because you're seeing it and you're processing it all the way through. So I noticed that by the end of journaling, whatever issues go, it could be in your daily life, it could be once a week, once a month, whatever. I noticed that like it really just helps anything that's building up in the back of your mind, just snowballing and adding more anxiety, more stress. If you just journal and get it all out, I feel like it relieves some of the weight off your shoulders. Makes it feel lighter. And I said journaling slash introspection, because introspection, that's what I do mostly when I'm doing my journal, is analyzing what happened, like why it made me feel this way, what could have caused me to feel that way, how I should react and move on from it and learn from it. It really all ties back to me and, how things affected me and why they affected me that way. I'm right next to some train tracks, so they might come by. But all right, next one, diet. But this isn't the normal, like, don't eat your fast food, don't eat the processed foods, eat your healthy foods. Like, we all know that. You know what I'm saying? What this is I've noticed, like, if you're really anxious and neurotic, right? You have a lot of energy, but it's restless energy. It's not stable energy. Let's say your knees bobbing up all day. You can't sit still. Your mind's racing, right? That means your nervous system is overstimulated, and you're just too wired. So what I've realized is when you eat really heavy foods, it grounds your nervous system. It takes a lot of energy to digest those foods. So if you're neurotic and overstimulated and have too much energy that needs to be grounded and calmed down, I noticed that eating a big meal can offset that. Now, it works the same way if you're really tired and you can't get up, you have no productivity, and it's the opposite of being neurotic. You just can't, you have no energy to do anything. Eating a big heavy meal like pasta and ground beef, you know, fatty carb, something like that, that's going to take a lot of energy to digest. And if you're already lacking energy, it's going to just take more of that energy. You're going to end up feeling more tired. Now, if you eat something really light, like fruit, juices, something like that, that just gives you energy, but doesn't take that much energy to digest, that's going to increase your overall levels of energy. So if you're really tired, those are what's good for you. If you're really neurotic and have too much energy, then maybe eating a ton of fruit and juices that have that electrify you isn't what's right for you. You know what I'm saying? It's not just as simple as on paper, fruit is healthy for you, so you should eat it all the time. Like, nah, if you have way too much energy, then you shouldn't digest things that are very easy to digest and give you tons more energy. You're going to end up feeling more neurotic. So it's simple. It's more simple than just on paper what's healthy and what isn't. next. I don't want to keep rambling. This one's simple, but maybe even one of the hardest ones. A friend slash environment check. Now these go hand in hand. Who you got to do a real check on who the people you hang around with are. What are the things they talk about? What are you guys talk about when you're hanging out? Where do you guys go? What do you do when you go out? All of these things. Like if you know going out with these friends, they're talking about like just negative stuff. You guys are going out doing degenerate stuff all the time, and it's wrong for you and you don't want it, but you're like, oh, I've been friends with these kids forever though, so like I have to keep hanging with them. At a certain point you need to take yourself over them. You need to be like, I know what's right for me though, and I'm not going to keep hanging with them just so I don't disappoint them. I need to take my life back and focus on what's meant for me. So just do a check and be present. All of these things require presence. That's why it was like my first video on the channel. Journaling requires presence throughout your day. How did I feel? What made me feel this way? Everything. Diet. Every time you eat, how did you feel after? Did it drain you or did it make you feel better? And then you keep track. How did my nervous system react to what I ate? Friends and environment check. When you hang out with your friends, be present, be conscious. How do I feel right now? Do I feel like we're just like the vibe is just low? We're talking about some bullshit? Or is it actually like a productive environment that's making me feel better and become a better person? Be present. Next one, nature and sunlight. I always try to get out in nature at least once a day. If it's sunny out, you've got to get out, get some sun, because as we were talking about earlier, needing to be grounded. Nature is very grounding. And I don't mean go out in nature with AirPods on, blasting music and stuff. Like I mean genuinely sit in nature, hear the wind blow, hear the birds chirp, and just chill for a little bit. And although it's like medicine for some people, if you're super wired and neurotic and your brain's flying and you're restless, sitting in nature is gonna feel like hell. You're gonna need more stimulation. You're gonna be like, bro, this is not good for me. So if you go out in nature with no music, you just chill and sit in the quiet, and that's difficult for you to do, then that's a little check of like where you're at. You know what I'm saying? And how stimulated or overstimulated you are. Next up, reading. This one's good because it's like for several reasons. One, you're learning new things. That's cool. Two, it's increasing your attention span. If you're always on the phone, you're always on TikTok, blah blah blah. If you can just sit down and read, that definitely increases your attention span. Two, it's just calming. It grounds you. It takes your mind off things. And I've just noticed that if you're ever wired, sometimes it's nice to just sit down and read and calm down and be relaxed. And sometimes that might be hard if your mind's flying a million miles an hour, sitting down and reading and just doing nothing else, low stimulation activity, it might be difficult. But once again, be present. That's another check. Where am I at? Why am I this overstimulated? Why can I not just sit down and read a book or sit in nature or do something like this? Next one, screen time and what are you watching? So screen time's an obvious one. If your screen time's a lot throughout the day, that's constant stimulation for your brain. That's not good for your nervous system. You're always getting dopamine hits. Your attention span's getting short. But also, like we all know that. But also, what are you watching though? That I feel like that might even matter more. What are you watching? Is it always just brain rot and stuff that doesn't really matter? Or is it actual something with substance that is helping you become the person you want to be? You know what I'm saying? And like teaching you new things or inspiring you to be the best version of yourself or anything like that. Is it actually positive or is it actually just a distraction and numbing yourself from the real world and things that are going on in your life? Next one, exercise, hitting the gym, going outside, going for a walk. It doesn't have to be gnarly exercise. It could literally just be going for a stroll. Get some movement. Always be moving in some way or another. If you just sit all day long, you go to work, you sit in a office job all day long, you go home, you sit down, you watch TV all day long, that's stagnation in your body. Well, you'll feel that over time, and it's really nice to just get out and move sometimes. And I always feel like a mood boost every single time I get out there. If I go for a jog, every time I'm done, I feel accomplished. It's that real dopamine, not that instant dopamine. So exercise is important, but you don't have to kill yourself going crazy hard and blah blah blah. Like just chill, start slow, slowly improve over time, and don't beat yourself up. Just start somewhere. That's what really matters. Just get out there, move around a little bit. Last one. This is something that I learned recently. This is a new one for me. Productivity levels and taking rest. So for me, I think that as a general statement, if you live in America, we were raised in a society that is promoting hard, like you need to be working all the time. If you take days off, if you rest, you're lazy. If you just sit down and do nothing for 3 hours, you're lazy. That's looked down upon. You should always be working, blah, blah, blah. But what I've noticed is I have tried to be as productive as possible. You know, wake up and for all day until I go to bed, be as productive as possible. Never stop. Always be doing something. But I've noticed that that's very stimulating. Your brain never gets a break. You're always doing something. You're always burning energy and never recovering until you go to bed. And then you wake up and you just run it right back, you know? So sometimes taking a rest can actually help your productivity because it helps you recover, calms your mind down, calms your nervous system down, and it makes you able to move on to your work without feeling overstimulated, tired, and just like ratted out basically. Because I noticed that like I would be trying to be productive and work from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed, and I'd notice I'd start like sleeping in way more than normal. I'd be like, why am I so tired? Like I'm being productive, I'm doing good things, I should be feeling good. Yeah, I'm so tired and sleeping in and feel drained. Like what's going on? And I started to realize like taking a rest every once in a while and sitting down and just looking around and chilling, you know, doing something calming, even if it's not the most productive thing, is actually beneficial for you. And if it makes you more rested and recovered, it can actually help your productivity in the long run. So make sure you're not working too hard. Take some rests, get some exercise, read, journal, diet, you know, simple things like that. And I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching.